with Trevor Ombija.
Good evening. You're just in time for the Monday Report, and we're live from county number 11. That is the county of Isiolo. We are the Catholic Diocese of Isiolo, specifically the St. Eusebius Cathedral. This is where we're having a conversation on the CBE placement. And there's a lot of crisis happening. The government says more than 61% of the students have already reported to school, but we know C4 category schools, some report zero learners. So where are the learners? What are their concerns? We speak to parents, teachers, and as well as my guest who will be with us here during the town hall session. Moses Kimwere is Executive Secretary, Kupet Isiolo Branch. Aidan Galma is the BOM member and also PA President Association Chair, Isiolo Girls. And Samuel Boto will be coming in on behalf of Frederick Hiru. He's the Deputy Regional Director, Education at the Eastern Region. Also with us here on the panel will be Caroline Mugo, the County Director, Education in Isiolo. We're speaking about the situation on the CBE placement crisis. We'd like to hear your views at Trevor Ombija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Citizen Monday Report. But I'm not alone. Emmanuel Ndung is in our headquarters. Emmanuel, what's going on in the world of sports?
Good evening. It's nice to be joined with you here this evening and everyone at home as well. As usual, I'll be taking you through the sports news a little bit later on. We have some action in the Kenya Premier League and, of course, the fallout from a thrilling Africa Cup of Nations final last night. Senegal took the win, but it wasn't without huge controversies. They even left the pitch at one point, so we'll get into that a little bit later. Back to you.
Yeah, looking forward to that, Emmanuel. I know there was a lot of drama during the AFCON session, but first, our top stories tonight.
More deaths on the road. 7 killed and 11 injured after a truck rammed into 2 matatus at Kikopey along Nairobi-Nakuru Highway. Protests in Karatina. Businesses shut, transport disrupted as Karatina residents protest shooting of a businessman by police. Two days to go. Thousands of learners still stuck at home as sub-county schools remain deserted 2 days to expiry of the admission period.
Timu yangu yote tulijua hao ni watu ya Ruto, ni maspai, ni mamols. Sasa wameenda tu pahali walikuwa.
They are UDA spies. DCP leader Gachagua downplays defections by a section of allies from his team.
Thanks for tuning in. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Belinda Phillips. I'm afraid I have some sad news, and we begin the bulletin with some sad news. And there's a tragedy on the road where 7 people were killed and 11 injured after a truck rammed 2 matatus at Kikopey in Gilgil, that's in Nakuru County. As Marianne Nyambura now reports, residents are raising concern of a rising road carnage along the Nakuru-Nairobi highway.
This is the scene of the accident that claimed 7 lives. This truck heading towards the Nakuru direction rammed 2 matatus that were heading in the opposite direction. The driver of the truck is said to have lost control of the vehicle.
Driver alimejaribu kucontrol hiyo gari Nissan, lori imemchukua mpaka mahali alikuwa. Imemsukuma ikamuralia hiyo Nissan na watu kadhaa wakapoteza maisha. Naye lori mwenye lori ikaenda kama inapanda mlima. Ikagonga gari lingine Nissan ilikuwa kando kando. Ikaigonga ikachukua sote zilikuwa kando kando ikasigonga.
Tulikuwa tunasafiri kwa gari moja kutoka Nakuru. Trailer ime lose control. Ikakuja wrong side. Ikagonga hiyo gari ndogo.
Gilgil Sub-County Police Commander Wilston Mwakio confirmed that 5 people died on the spot, while 2 others succumbed at St. Mary's Hospital in Gilgil.
Watu wa trailer kwanza wajaribu kuangaliwa, maana hatuelewi kabisa. Mimi naonanga NTSA na labda traffic wanalalia upande wa gari ndogo kama matatu na magari mengine, lakini hatujaona wakiangalia hao watu wa trailer. Maana hawa ndio mara mosi, hawa ndio tunaona kama wako zaidi careless.
Residents expressed concerns over the frequent accidents along the Nairobi-Nakuru highway. 2 weeks ago, a multi-car accident along the same stretch claimed the lives of 6 people.
Kama zimbarabara wanapanua ama watuambie hizi tulera kwenye zitapita, kwa sababu accident zimekuwa too much hapa. Dereva wamechoka, wametoka Mombasa, anaenda huko boda huko Maraba, mtu amechoka na wana expect aendeshe gari peke yake. Tumekasirika sana, serikali lazima itusaidie. Na tunataka kuambia Ruto, venye alituahidi barabara itapanuliwa. Aanzie hapa Kikope, juu accident imekuwa mingi.
Miriam Nyambura, Citizen TV.
And tension remains high in Karatina, that's in Nyeri County, following the Sunday night fatal shooting of a businessman by a police officer. George Gadu is said to have been shot following an altercation with an administration police officer. Transport and business operations were, for the better part of Monday, temporarily disrupted as business operators in the town held protest. As Kamau Mwangi reports, the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, that is IPO, has now taken over investigations of the case.
Karatina town was for the better part of Monday a no-go zone as a section of business operators lit bonfires on various sections of the Nyeri-Karatina-Nairobi highway as they protested the killing of George Gatho, a businessman in the town who was shot by a police officer yesterday night. The operators lamented the manner in which George met his death at the hands of an officer well known to them, having been shot twice at close range at this petrol station on Sunday after an altercation between the two.
Ni kijana mdogo ameajili watu wengi, na from jana saa 5:30 hatujawahi ona either ni senator, mbunge ama nani kwa hii Karatina town akielezea mambo ya huyo askari na mambo ya George mwenye aliuawa jana usiku.
Sisi hakuna kitu walikuwa wanaulizana. Kuna mambo ya kuua mtu na kuulizana kweli? Kuna mambo ya kuulizana na mtu ya kuua mtu? Sasa ile kitu tunataka sisi ni haki.
Their protest disrupting business and transport activities for the better part of Monday as they bayed for the officer's blood. The family of the late 40-year-old is now demanding justice after the officer, identified as Peter Wamiti Mwangi of the administration police, was arrested and disarmed.
I can't believe that my husband is no more, and I'm seeking justice for him. He didn't deserve to be shot.
It's my humble request to the government to follow that case. Because of recent, we have seen young people being killed. He was only 40 years at their prime age.
The Independent Policing and Oversight Authority, IPOA, says it has since taken over the investigation of the matter, even as tension in the town remained palpable. Central Region Police Commandant Jasper Umbati, while confirming the incident, has called for calm.
We are going to do our part to ensure that their loved one, George, gets justice. And not only get justice, but also quickly and in a timely manner.
Kamau Mwangi, Citizen TV, Karatina in Nyeri.
Here's what we were discussing earlier on, and we'll talk about it in our town hall session. Senior schools under the Cluster 4 category, formerly known as sub-county schools, are staring at a bleak future due to the low turnout of learners. Almost a week since grade 10 learners began reporting, only a handful reported to C4 schools, with some receiving no learner at all. This happening as thousands of grade 10 learners remain stuck at home, despite the government issuing a directive for a mop-up exercise aimed at ensuring that no learner is locked out of the transition to senior school. As Safina Chiengo Uma reports, though, the mop-up exercise did not begin in most parts of the country.
At Kokwe Island, Lake Baringo, we find Zephania Lekai securing his catch of fish. The 2025 KJSEA top performer has now turned into a full-time fisherman to save enough funds to enable him join Keep Your Seat High School in Bomet County.
Hakuna pesa za kutosha ya kuenda sasa mashule. Sasa mzazi anaweza fanya hapa juu chini anapata pesa ambazo hazitoshi.
The island has a population of about 3,000 people, majority of them settled here after fleeing from banditry-prone areas of Rogos, Kiserian and Nosukuro. Many families were left with no source of income, hence their children cannot go to school. In Ekiendeke village, Suneka, Kisii County, Dotvik Omweri Ogega has been forced to shelve his dream of joining Maseno Boys High School, which is a national school, to join an alternative village school, shrinking his opportunities to pursue his dream career.
Kulingana na hali ya familia, haiwezi kabisa kunichukua hiyo shule kwa sababu inagharimu pesa mingi.
Nilienda shule kuomba risasi ya mtoto, nimpeleke mahali naweza kulipa kidogo kidogo nchi shule za hizi za roko. Walimu wakasema mtoto hawezi waangusha. Hawatawaangusha tu, mtoto amejaribu sana. Wacha watafute jinsi wanaweza saidia huyu mtoto aende shule.
A similar fate befalls Elias Mwangi from Liki slums in Nanyuki.
Nilipata 66 points kwa KTDA, nikaweza kuitwa Mangu, but nikachange juu ya financial instability, nikachange to Nanyuki High. Mbele naona kukio poa juu nikizapata sponsor anaweza jikakamua.
Thousands of grade 10 learners remain stuck at home despite the government issuing a directive for a mop-up exercise aimed at ensuring a 100% transition. The low enrollment is threatening the future of Cluster 4 category senior schools. At Senior Chief Risa Secondary School in Kajiado Central, only 6 learners reported.
We were not expecting that. Bearing in mind that the grade 10, we are expecting 100% transition to senior secondary schools.
A similar situation is experienced at Saina Day Mixed Secondary School in Kajiado Town.
We are not even sure how many will come in STEM and how many will be admitted for social sciences. So we are worried that we may not get an adequate number.
In Bomet County, Kapchepkole Secondary School remains deserted except for Form 3 and Form 4 students. The school expected 45 grade 10 students, but none has reported.
We have not been so lucky in this school. So far, we have put across one request for admission. It was approved, but the learner has not reported.
A few kilometers from Kapchepkole, Kenyagoro Secondary School is facing a similar challenge. Only 4 learners have reported to grade 10.
On the admission, we had 45 learners, but we realize some of them are from faraway counties like Coast, Narok, Western, and therefore they will not be able to make it.
The school heads have challenged the government to change strategy and secure the future of C4 schools. Safin Acheng Oma, Citizen TV.
Now tonight we focus on the practical experience of the competency-based education system in arid and semi-arid areas. In an environment marked by extreme heat and limited resources, children in Isiolo County, where we are right now, have had to attend lessons in difficult circumstances while also contending with inadequate basic resources. Teacher shortage of desks, ill-equipped science laboratories, lack of computers and reliable internet access in Isiolo depict a CBE divide that local talent has been unable to fix. Our reporter Emily Chebet was on the ground and now brings us the story of CBE the Isiolo way.
In the vast sun-scorched plains of Merti, a 4-hour drive from Isiolo town, it is the end of morning lessons at Matarba Primary and Junior School. For these learners, education begins not with books or technology, but with a long walk through heat and dust, inspired by the desire for a better future. This is a model class in Isiolo. The class facilities are in need of attention. Here, minds must make up for what infrastructure didn't deliver, with imagination and teachers' instructions. Education is meant to be an equalizer for all learners in Kenya, but the situation in most of the schools in Isiolo County is different. In this particular school, this class has only these 2 sitting materials for this particular class. By the time we got here, ECD learners had already left for home after a short hot day. This is their classroom. They sit on the floor. On just 2 mats that are now worn out, they must be kept safe, for they know not when the next donor will come. The primary and junior school learners are heading back home for lunch, we are told. The teachers are hopeful that they will return for the afternoon lessons. The institution has a population of 152 primary and junior school and 110 children in early childhood education. The ECD section has only one government-posted teacher. 7 teachers attend to the primary section and another 3 are dedicated to the junior school, forcing the primary level tutors to step in.
Hatukuwa na mwalimu wa junior school, grade 7, hatukuwa na mwalimu junior school. Ni walimu wa primary tu ndio walikuwa wanajikaza, tukamaliza that year. Wakati tuliingia grade 7, grade 8, tukapata walimu wawili, lakini second term moja katolewa, tulipata changamoto kubwa sana hapo.
While learning under CBE was intended to be practical and interactive, in most of the schools in this region, science experiments are drawn on the board, computers are described, and laboratories exist only in textbooks that learners have never held.
Kwanza grade 9, hatuna kitabu hata moja. At present, hatuna. Ni historia ya kuomba tu. Na kile unaomba, unapewa kopi moja in all the subjects. Kopi moja. Hiyo ndio mwalimu anategemea na watoto wanategemea. Hakuna teacher's guide. Kitu kama lab, hiyo ni hadithi hapa kwa hii area.
A kilometer drive from Merti to Com Primary and Junior School in Biliko Marara along Merti Isiolo Road, the situation is recurrent. This has been the school's administration block since 2008-2009 academic year. Imagine this is a staff room that is supposed to host 9 teachers from this particular school, from kindergarten, primary to junior secondary school. The worst of it all is that this is the head teacher's office. He's supposed to be receiving his guests here anytime that he has visitors. This is how the office looks. No desk, just this condition here. Since the rollout of the CBE system in 2017, the school had never received any teacher or infrastructural support. The learners were forced to relocate to other schools for junior school until recently, when parents and teachers came together to construct these structures as a community initiative. The government had sent 1 intern teacher. We witnessed firsthand the contextual realities.
Search from the internet the incident of the first revelation. Listen to the narration, then narrate the members of your class. But now the problem we have, we don't have the internet access. So we shall leave that one for another time.
The JS teacher tells us there is no rest. He moves from one class to the other, handling grades 7 to 9. He knows too well their future depends on him. According to the school management, they are yet to receive last year's third-term capitation, even after writing to the Ministry of Education.
Capitation goes with the number of the learners. Sasa namba ya learners ikiwa kidogo sana, capitation pia is the same. Unaona? So kile unatumaniwa, it's not even worth. The whole school tunapata 9,000 kwa account moja. So account yote mbili ya primary tunapata only 18,000. Ndio maana hata stima ndio tumewekewa mpaka hapa, lakini wiring tumeshindwa kufanya.
At Bulapesa Primary near Isiolo Town, insecurity compounds an already bad situation. The weather too is unforgiving.
Mvua ikinyesha, mchanga hapa hivi ni mbaya sana, hata huwezi kutembea. Kwa maana inanata, na hata wanafunzi wengi sana takuja kwa shule inakuwa ni shida, kwa sababu hawezi kutembea mguu tupu, na baadhi yao ni wanafunzi wazazi ambao hawajiwezi, ni watoto yao. Upande wa madarasa hatuna lab, na hatuna computer lab, na hatuna library.
At a time when the country is pushing ahead with the grade 10 transition, serious questions are emerging about children from regions like this. How are they expected to keep pace with the rest of the country when many have never seen, let alone used, a computer?
For this grade ambao wanataka kufanya mtihani, wanajitayarisha kufanya mtihani, at least tuko naja hapa hatuna gari. Tuko na tuk-tuk hapa. Wanabebwa, hata last year wamefanya hivyo. Wanabebwa na tuk-tuk. Wanapelekwa, kuna hii shule inaitwa Martimusili wako na lab. wanaenda tu kuangalia kile, that's the materials that are in the lab. Generally, what is there?
At Bulampia Secondary School, one of the few senior schools here, 12 students were placed to join grade 10. Only one had reported by 16th of January. The school says it is ready to offer 2 pathways, STEM and social sciences, and has at least a science laboratory. Yet under CBE, STEM is more than just a lab.
In STEM, we are all offering applied and pure sciences. For the other tracks within that STEM, because of the teachers and also facilities, we are not provided for now.
For learners in Isiolo County, every passing day is a testament to their struggle and to their unyielding hope for a better tomorrow. Emily Chebet, Citizen TV, Isiolo County.
We will discuss that situation in our town hall session in just a bit. But for now, let's talk about a bit of politics. Now, DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua now says that the leaders who have ditched his party for the UDA party were President William Ruto's spies, saying he's working to weed out all disloyal members. Speaking in Kilifi County today, Gachagua accused the UDA party of a desperate attempt to divide his party. As Emmanuel Toh now explains, about 10 sitting and former leaders drawn from the Mount Kenya region have dumped Gachagua after sustained onslaught from President William Ruto in the vote-rich Mount Kenya region.
He came out guns blazing after days of a sustained hemorrhage of some of his allies who have ditched his party for the ruling UDA party. Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who has been in the coastal city of Kilifi for a 3-day DCP party leaders retreat, starting with a response to speculations that his deputy Cleopas Malala was also on his way out.
Cleo Malala alikuwa Kakamega na ile Malala Super Cup. Alafu akapata homa kali sana. Okay. Katika timu yangu yote tulijua hao ni watu ya Ruto, ni maspai, ni mamoles. Sasa wameenda tu pahali walikuwa.
How can I abandon my own baby? So I am in DCP to stay, and those people propagating lies and disinformation that I have left this DCP party to UDA. I want to tell them categorically that I'm here to stay.
And to the latest defector, Juja MP George Koimburi, Gachagua had this to say.
Kama huyo moja alitoka, alitaka tiapewe direct ticket. Na mwambia hakuna, DCP ni chama cha kidemokrasia.
Unakuja hapo, unaambiliwa wewe ndiye tutapea ticket. Mwingine akikuja na anataka the same position, anaambiwa pia wewe nitakupea ticket. Lakini umekuja na nini? DCP hakuna pahali inaenda. Hiyo ilikuwa moto tu ya manyasi, tumeizima.
The political exodus from DCP has been coming thick and fast, with the former DP losing some of his key foot soldiers, especially in the Mount Kenya region. They include Githunguri MP Gathoni wa Mushomba, former Nyeri Town MP Ngunjeri wa Mbogo, and Maragwa legislator Mary wa Maua, among others.
His Excellency ako kwa rapi ya mwisho. Wacha tumpatie nafasi afanye kazi, miaka 5 ikiisha ndio tutaangalia scorecard yake iko namna gani. Na si huyu jamaa mnamjua. Huyu ukimwambia hata press up 100 afanye atafanya.
Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga has recently been sending mixed signals. His recent attendance of a UDA grassroots leaders meeting at the Sagana State Lodge Nyeri, leaving his supporters guessing.
Mimi ni wa chama kipi? UDA president wangu ni nani? Ni William Samoei, rais. Yale mambo yamebaki Nyeri, ukikamilisha mimi nitasema 2 term.
President William Ruto and his deputy Professor Kithure Kindiki have combined a charm offensive in the Mount Kenya region, turning the tide in the fight for the soul of the populous constituency ahead of the 2027 polls. Emmanuel Toh, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
At the same time, President William Ruto has dismissed opposition leaders who have termed the Nyota Youth Start Capital program as a political tool to hoodwink the youth ahead of the 2027 general election. While officiating the disbursement of funds to youth in Nairobi, Kajiado and Kiambu counties, President Ruto says that the 50,000 shillings to be eventually disbursed to each beneficiary will go a long way in empowering them to begin small and medium businesses. Stephen Leto has more.
It was Nairobi, Kiambu and Kajiado youth turn to receive their share of the Nyota funds aimed at giving selected youth startup capital for their businesses.
Nyota ni fire, si fire. Nyota ni fire, si fire.
President William Ruto, who officiated the event in Kasarani, where more than 14,000 youth benefited, took the opportunity to scoff at the opposition leaders who have cast aspersions on the Nyota program.
Ati kuna majamaa wanasema ati 50,000 ni pesa kidogo. Mimi nataka niwaeleze wale majamaa, poleni, hamuelewi, kwa sababu pengine nyinyi hamjakaa mahali hawa watu wamekaa. Kuna watu wakipata 20,000 watabadilisha hii dunia. Kuna watu hapa wakipata 50,000 dunia yao inabadilika. Wewe ambaye uko na milioni, please usituonyeshe madharau.
That do not despise humble beginnings. Hawa vijana wanaanzia pale chini na hundi ya shilingi 50,000 ambaye the first phase watapata siku ya leo.
According to the government, the Nyota program is not a political program as claimed by the opposition.
Kuna mtu hapa ameulizwa wewe ni wa chama gani ndio ingie kwa hii program? Kwa ile maswali ilikuweko hapo, muliambiwa what is your political party? Muliambiwa kama wewe ni wa no term? Muliulizwa kama wewe ni wa one term? Uliulizwa kama wewe ni wa two term? Uliulizwa kama wewe ni wa long term?
This is not the only youth empowerment program that we are having under your leadership. This administration is also empowering young people, creating jobs and income opportunities through the affordable housing program, through digital jobs.
Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja directed that all beneficiaries of the Nyota program in Nairobi City County be granted a waiver of all business permits and licenses for a period of 2 years.
Hiyo list nitapatiwa. Sisi tutahakikisha for the first year na ile ambayo inafuata, ile biashara utaanzisha, tuna waive all business permits. Business permits, licenses. Hakuna kunyanyaswa na kanjo sasa ile umeingia kwa hii system.
Katika historia ya taifa la Kenya, Your Excellency, vijana kama hawa walikuwa wamewekwa katika kona moja ambapo wanatumika wakati wa siasa, wanaenda kwa mikutano ya siasa kupiga kelele, wanakuwa mabloga, wanachukuliwa kama goons, Your Excellency. Lakini wewe, Your Excellency, umewaangalia.
President Ruto called on the beneficiaries to make good use of the funds, adding that field officers will be trailing their businesses to ascertain their qualification for the next tranche. Stephen Leto, Citizen TV.
All right, on that note, the Monday Report is taking a quick break here live from county number 11, that is Isiolo. We're at the Catholic Diocese of Isiolo, and later on we'll have a conversation on the CBE placement crisis and find out, are there unique challenges here in Isiolo? Moses Kimwere will be here, he's the Executive Secretary, Kupet Isiolo branch. Aidan Galma is the BOM member, also Isiolo Girls, and as well as Samuel Boto will be here on behalf of Frederick Kiru, he's the Deputy Regional Director Education Eastern Region, and also Caroline Mugo, the County Director Education Isiolo, will be joining us so that we find out, are there unique challenges here in the placement and what is the circumstance as we speak. If your view is coming, and we'll be back in just a short while for that conversation. Coming up, human rights groups term Uganda elections a sham, call for release of political prisoners. Staying with Citizen TV live from Isiolo. Now, Safaricom's Chief Executive Officer Peter Ndegwa says that the telecommunication company was not privy to the mechanisms that were used to determine the share price in the planned sale of the 20% stake. While submitting his presentation to the Joint National Assembly Committees of Finance and Planning as well as Public Debt and Privatization, the Safaricom boss told the committee that the changes in shareholding will not affect the company's operations, adding that the proposed transaction does not alter Safaricom's governance framework, regulatory oversight, or even the national jurisdiction. Seth Olale followed the proceedings.
The Joint National Assembly Committees of Finance and Public Debt and Privatization, led by Finance Committee Chairperson Kuria Kimani, sought assurance from Safaricom on the determination of the share price, currently set at 34 shillings per share, and whether there could be a better offer.
The CS Treasury has told us 34, therefore, it's not very bad. It looks good. What else do you think we should consider so that we reap maximally?
We still need national treasury, yes, to come and clarify these kind of things. Because as Kwenya said, to forgo 11 billion is a lot of money.
Do you think that if we follow this procedure, the price per share would achieve beyond 34 shillings as currently negotiated with the government? And if yes, why? And if yes, by how much?
The further government giving you 34 shillings a share. If it goes to the market, it might be less than that, or it might be more than that. Was it not possible to allow the people of Kenya to just buy instead of giving a foreign company?
However, Safaricom's Chief Executive Officer Peter Ndegwa told the parliamentary watchdog that his company was not privy to the mechanisms that were used to determine the share price.
As representing the company, we were not involved in determining or actually seeking to see what the right share price is. Because when two shareholders are having a transaction, you leave it to them to actually determine how they want to conclude a transaction.
In addition, the committee members sought to understand how Safaricom will remain a Kenyan company, promoting local innovations as top priority in addition to ensuring that state security is not compromised, given that it holds crucial database.
What is the certainty from your statement that the new board which will be composed post this reorganization will not change the business course, will not reorganize the innovation?
There is proper legal infrastructure, there is safeguards for the process of this.
There is no transfer of operational control, no dilution of regulatory authority, and no weakening of governance standards arising from this transaction.
Earlier, rights groups including Operation Linda Jamii, led by National Convener Professor Fred Ogola, told the National Assembly Committees of Finance and Public Debt, respectively, that the proposed sale is constitutionally untenable, legally vulnerable to challenge, and contrary to the public interest. Seth Olale, Citizen TV.
Let's focus on our neighbors. And the civil societies under the Pan-African Solidarity Group have denounced the Ugandan general election, saying the election was a sham and a premeditated power grab against the people. The group, which puts the number of those who have been killed since election day at 50, want the international community to impose sanctions on President Yoweri Museveni's regime, as they also demanded the release of political prisoners. Gatete Njoroge has more.
Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni win in the January 15th general election continues to elicit sharp criticism from far and wide. Civil societies in Kenya, who have been vocal on the happenings in Uganda even before the election, now say what happened in Uganda was not an election but a militarized power grab and electoral coup.
What occurred 4 days ago was not an election. It was a premeditated power grab and a military coup against the sovereignty of the Ugandan people, superintended for the benefit of dictator Yoweri Museveni.
While claiming the votes were manipulated in favor of President Museveni, The group adds that the regime had signaled months ago their plan, which was enabled by nationwide internet shutdown. They report that apart from the electoral malpractices, violence witnessed during and after polls resulted in the death of 50 people.
We have overwhelming evidence of Electoral Commission, EC officials, security forces, and the Ghetto Brigade militia critiquing ballots in favor of Museveni while the world was blinded. Agents of the National Unity Platform, NUP, were systematically chased away from polling stations prior to voting or abducted immediately after to prevent them from witnessing the tallying process.
The activists have taken offense with the observer groups led by the African Union, COMESA, IGAD and EAC, who gave the election a clean bill of health, only raising concerns over internet shutdown and media coverage.
To the African Union Commission, your January 17th statement congratulating Yoweri Museveni is not just premature. It is a profound betrayal of the African Charter on democracy, elections and governance.
We demand the immediate imposition of global travel bans and asset freezes against the architects of this electoral fraud and the heads of the security agencies overseeing this state-sponsored repression, including all the members of the Museveni family cabal.
The group is also demanding for unconditional release of all political prisoners and the reinstatement of all suspended NGOs. Gatete Njoroge, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, the government, through the National Treasury, has announced the listing of the Kenya Pipeline Company initial public offering at the Nairobi Securities Exchange in an effort to raise funds for the National Infrastructure Fund. Now, the move marks one of the largest IPOs in the country for nearly 2 decades. Jimmy Mbogo has more.
Push and pull, the National Treasury has followed through on its commitment to broaden ownership of the Kenya Pipeline Company through privatization. Treasury has issued an initial public offer in the company, setting the stage for investors to buy into what has been described as a strategic national asset. The offer period has been extended from the usual 10 days to nearly a month, giving investors more time to participate before the shares begin trading on the equity markets.
I am saying the government must reduce our presence or active participation in commercial activities, in doing business. The government is not in the business of doing business. Some people are saying, why are we selling a jewel? We are not, these companies, these assets are not supposed to be kept like souvenirs.
The proposed IPO for the Kenya Pipeline Company presents not just a break from the lack of IPOs that we've had, but it's also a huge opportunity for ordinary Kenyans to own a stake in a successful, profitable, dividend-paying Kenyan company.
The IPO, coming hot on the heels of yet another government divestiture in Safaricom, is expected to raise more than 106.3 billion shillings. This will be achieved through the sale of 11.8 billion shares at an offer price of 9 shillings each, giving investors a 65% stake in the company. Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi says that despite the privatization, nearly 74% of KPC will remain locally owned, either directly or through pension funds or via government's retention of 35% stake in the company, ensuring that KPC remains a Kenyan entity.
And out of that 65%, as a percentage of it, the staff of the company will have 5% of the ownership offered to them. The oil marketing companies, 15%. The local retail investors, 20%. The local institutional investors, like pension funds and others, insurance companies, are offered 20%. The local retail investors is you and I, individual people. East African investors, because we are in a region, we must think and remember our neighbors, 20%. And finally, foreign investors will have 20%.
Capital market players have also described the IPO as a defining moment for the markets.
The bull run that began 2 years ago
we are charging on in the new year, and investor confidence is at its highest level that we have seen. And this offering is not in isolation. It is being introduced at a time when the market has regained momentum, depth, and investor confidence. And Buenos Aires, we have a few private IPOs coming to market in the course of this year.
The Kenya Pipeline Company initial public offer is officially open. What this means for Kenyans is for as little as 900 shillings, you can own a piece of the Kenya Pipeline Company. The minimum shares that you will be required to own is about 100 shares, which currently go for as little as 9 shillings per share. Jamie Mbogo, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Well, the National Intelligence and Research University, NIRU, has convened innovators, researchers and technology experts for a 2-day pre-hackathon mentorship workshop aimed at sharpening artificial intelligence solutions to address national challenges such as security and health. The workshop brings together more than 2,700 selected innovators following a national call for driven solutions issued in November 2025. Now, the program underscored the role of innovation and research in driving national development by solving complex challenges across the sectors such as security, health and public service delivery, and the importance of structured mentorship in transforming ideas into impactful solutions across sectors. Organizers say the initiative reflects Kenya's growing focus on technology-driven solutions and capacity building among young innovators, and with the rapidly growing digital economy, AI presents opportunities to create new employment pathways.
Excited myself, and I hope you're equally as excited.
We also want to use these resources to be able to, look at the vaccine production as far as livestock is concerned, to address the diseases in this. So you will find that counties have got different sort of niche, so to speak. Their strengths, their weaknesses, opportunities that are there. And we want to come with intervention of science, research, innovation, technology. But again, now we want to bring the AI to be able to fast track.
We are keen on extracting the broad potential of our innovators, which until now is not really fully exploited. And we want to give a chance to our youth, our innovators. That is why when you see the youth who have assembled here, you can see the average age could be around 25 or so.
Well, KTDA Holdings has now launched a competitive merit-based process to recruit a new group chief executive officer, attracting 50 applicants, including 5 internal candidates from senior management. The recruitment follows the decision by current CEO Wilson Mudaura to proceed on leave ahead of mandatory retirement. To ensure continuity, the board has now appointed Engineer Francis Miano as acting CEO. KTDA says that the search being handled by the independent professional panel will be transparent and focused on competence, experience and leadership to safeguard the interests of the tea farmers and stakeholders. All right, that wraps up business live from the county number 11 Isiolo, but in our headquarters in Nairobi, Emmanuel Dungu is standing by with the sporting action. Emmanuel, over to you.
Thank you very much, Trevor. We have plenty to get into on this side as well. Let's begin in the Kenya Premier League. Defending champions Police FC and Nairobi United both fell further behind in the Kenya Premier League title chase after settling with a 1-1 draw in the only league match played on Monday afternoon at the Police Sacco Stadium. After a barren first half, winger Ovela Ochieng's cross was headed in by Police defender Ndeket Muamba to give Nairobi United a 1-0 lead in the 69th minute. Burkina Faso international Yves Kuitiama saved Police the blushes with an equaliser 7 minutes from time. With the single points from the match, Police move up to 5th on the league with 25 points, 8 behind leaders Gor Mahia. Nairobi United, on the other hand, are 7th with 24 points, the same as Murang'a Seal in 6th and Tusker FC in 8th.
Simiyu anaipata Edward Ondimo kwake Kotiama!
anarudisha mchezoni sasa. Kenya Police nicho kwa tunakikosa hichi kuanzia kipindi cha kwanza. Sasa milango imefunguka.
Kitu muhimu ni saa zile tumepata uongozi. Hiyo muda ushapata uongozi, tunaweza sokaje hii pressure. So baada ya kupata uongozi then tumekuwa na haraka sana. Na hiyo haraka imefanya pia concede mistake moja hapo ndio tukafungwa bao.
I think most of the game tumedominate. Pia ukiangalia second half tumeweza kucreate many chances lakini hatukufunga, but nadhani pia vijana I think pia wanaanza kujifunza mtindo wangu na naamini wakishaipata vile nataka nadhani itakuwa sawa.
Moving on, Njoroge Kibugu picked up from where he left over the weekend as he carded an impressive 6 under par 64 to take an early lead in round 1 of the final leg of the Sunshine Development Tour East Africa Swing at Karen Country Club. Kibugu had a good start with a birdie in hole 1. He was inconsistent towards the end of the front 9 with a bogey in hole 6, a birdie in hole 7, another bogey in hole 8 and a recovery with a birdie in hole 9. The back 9 started with a birdie in hole 10, then 2 bogeys at number 11 and 13. He then settled to play level par and picked up 2 more birdies at number 16 and 17 to end the day with a 6 under par score. Rwanda's Celestine Sanzuwera sits second on the leaderboard with a score of 5 under par. Isaiah Otuke and Johnny Lim are tied for third with a score of 3 under par. Let's have a look.
The course is playing quite all right. The greens aren't the smoothest, but obviously they're preparing for the Open. But I'll take the score.
I would say I want to win it 100% overall because it will be my 3rd win of the tour and the final of the tour. So it will be a good win for me and it will be a good opportunity to get a card for Sunshine Tour.
On to rugby, the top 3 teams in the Kenya Cup Rugby League remain unbeaten after round 5 of matches. Defending champions Cabras continue to dominate opponents after hammering the Strathmore Leos 81-21 in their last match at the Bullring in Kakamega. Oilers hammered Nakuru RFC 48-12 in the Nakuru Derby to consolidate their 2nd position in the standings. For former champions KCB, they had to dig deep to see off Kenya Harlequins 24-12 at the Lions' Den in Ruaraka. Kenyatta University's Black Blood and Nondi's RFC complete the top 5 as their teams prepare for round 6 of matches. Cabras and Oilers are tied on 25 points at the top with a perfect 5 wins out of 5, with both picking up a bonus point in all the matches. KCB in 3rd has also won 5, but with only 4 bonus points.